Hey, welcome to the Back Chatter Podcast. I'm Bryan Elaine. I'm very excited for this episode you're about to listen to. My co-host Adam will be joining me in a moment for our interview with Mike from Chasing Scratch. I've known Mike for almost 10 years now. We first met because he was a listener to my old golf podcast, and now I am not only a faithful listener to Chasing Scratch, like so many of you, but I am proud to call Mike a good friend as well. As a lot of you know, Mike and Eli are such good people, and they're as genuine in real life as they come across on their podcast. Adam and I had Mike on during our first season of Bag Chatter 2 years ago, and we really wanted to have him back on again this year. And while I enjoy talking to Eli as well, I kind of like pulling Mike away from Eli because so much of the content we hear from them is created together. So our hopes was to maybe just get a slightly different flavor of conversation with just Mike. If you're new to Bag Chatter and just here because of Chasing Scratch, we hope you like what you hear. And you don't need to go all the way back to Season 1 if you want to hear more of us. You can jump in on Season 3, or if you want, go back and listen to Season 2. Not going to tell you how to live your life, but just wanted to throw that out there. Either way, we do hope that you'll like this and that you'll give us a shot. Having said all that, here's our interview with Mike from Chasing Scratch. All right, I'm going to make an assumption that at least 85% of our listeners know who you are, what you do. I mean, if you're not listening to Chasing Scratch and you are listening to Bag Chatter, that's, I don't know.
Who are you? Who are I think you're my brother Grant. I think we could narrow it down to one person.
He is very. Why does Grant hate me?
Yeah, exactly.
I actually said some pretty negative stuff, and that is my bad, and I should not have revealed that. I apologize.
Mike, I'm going to start you off with an easy one.
Okay.
It's season 8 of your show, The Year of the Bear Shark.
Yep.
You guys just teamed up in your first listener tournament of the year, and you'll do it again for the Carl Tucky this summer. But the final major in the fall, is that still going to be the you versus Eli tournament? Or has that not been announced yet?
So, yes and no.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if that's a very good answer. It's probably the worst answer that you could have. Right now, there will be a Mike versus Eli, but then there will also be a Bear Shark component, both at Riverbend.
Both at Riverbend.
But we haven't finalized exactly how it's going to work yet because it's a little complicated.
Okay.
I love
we're a team. We're so into this team thing. The idea of wanting to just kill each other. We're still coming around on that. How do we do that?
I love the learning curve of getting into Chasing Scratch just from a linguistic standpoint, where people say things like there will be a bear shark component, and anyone listening is like, yeah, got it, understood, bear shark component. Gotcha.
Did I say that? Did I say bear shark component?
Yeah, you said there will be a Mike versus Eli. There will be a bear shark component, and then tracking perfectly. Understood.
The fact that people understand that makes me feel good. Yeah,
it's pretty great. The event that you just did out on the West Coast, you had a video guy with you.
Yes,
and I just watched it. The Desert Slashers movie was fantastic. Tell me about that experience.
Thank you. Yeah, so that was the first time that we've been mic'd up the whole time. Normally when we're in the cart, we just have the phone, or if it's really windy, we'll use a H4n recorder. But we'll just turn it on at certain points and kind of give updates. So that's the first time that we've just had the mic running all day, which I know you guys have done. Mm-hmm. And there was a cart cam too, which I know you guys have done. The first day, I did not handle it well. I hated the receiver on my belt, like the whatever that is. I could not get in the right spot. Every time I sat down, it would jab me, or I would have to, like Eli had to put it back on my belt like 7 or 8 times because it kept falling off. But I was also hot, and I was just not I was not a happy person. for most of that round. So everything was probably just irritating me more than it should have. The next day when it was like cool and 65 degrees, it was fine. But the first day I was kind of aware that we were kind of looking at a camera the whole time we were in the cart. Mm-hmm. Second day, I didn't even think about it one time. So yeah, it was definitely different. But I would say quickly got used to it.
Yeah.
We went away from that because Bryan, says hateful things towards all races, creeds, and religions fairly frequently, and so it was an editing nightmare, is what it came down to.
Did he get the months wrong? Okay.
Yeah, he got the months wrong.
I figured that sounds like something he would do.
Yeah, he doesn't keep track, and it's bad.
Before we jumped on here, I bet the over on FanDuel for how many drive-bys Adam would take at me verbally. I bet over 2.5. That the number was such a bad line, so well on my way.
It's actually 0 drive-bys. It's just like a direct in-your-face shooting, where it's like you then have to bury the body.
Adam, do you have a flashlight coming up?
It's
Is this like a campfire story you're about to tell?
It is. I'm in a closet. I am literally in a closet, and it is so hot in here. I don't know if you can see that I'm sweating, but you guys both have a nice setup. I've got like one picture hanging. There's a T-shirt on a chair behind me. It's very professional.
It just looked like you're going to say, "I'm the leprechaun."
Yeah, no, it's a ring light, that is not very well positioned, apparently. We've learned good, but there's no other lights in here, so we got to go with it.
Yeah,
I love it.
What did you guys think when you guys first did the whole full mic thing and the camera thing? Like, were you aware of it? Did it bug you? Did it not bug you?
I was horrible playing on camera, period, because I think that if we did what you did and we had people who were designated camera people, I think I would get over it pretty fast. Yeah. But we were recording ourselves, we were passing a camera back and forth. And to me, that took me out of any kind of rhythm whatsoever. I turned into a 20 handicap as soon as the cameras turned on. Bryan beat me, if you can believe that. And so,
but we tried that. We tried it, but it was just so bad every time we tried it. We never put it out. But we had the same kind of thing. We would give up.
A standard. They have a standard.
We would give up like 4 holes in. Well, no, it was really just because there wasn't much content, because we would both hate it so much.
Right.
Because we would keep forgetting, like, oh, we just missed the whole green. Like, we didn't even take it up to the green. We're just have a hole in the story. So yeah, we realized that we needed some help.
Yeah. I enjoyed it more than Adam, and I think partially because I'm not as proud of my golf game as Adam, but as soon as we would turn the cameras on, I think Adam was a little worried about, like, I have bad holes from time to time. I don't want to put bad holes and bad swings on camera. And I was just like,
want bad tape for those scouts.
That's right. All the scouts.
But I was just like, oh no, it's time to entertain. Like, I don't really care what kind of golf I play. Like, let's just make something that's fun and funny. And because of my broken brain, I ended up playing like decent golf doing that. So
I had no problem putting some bad swings on camera, but I was putting a lot of bad swings on camera. And so
I watched some of those videos. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he remembers. He remembers.
That's burned in my brain too. Whenever I think of Adam, I think of Whenever you think of garbage, think of Akeem. Whenever you think of Adam, think of those videos.
But you guys put a few really bad swings on camera as well, and like it's so relatable to watch. Like, I don't see those swings and think like, oh, these guys are imposters. Like, it's just like, if you play golf, you know how that works. So
yes, yeah, that's taken some getting over too. Like, for the longest time, probably up until like 2 years ago, if Eli took a down the line shot of my swing, I would yell at him. Like, I would, because I was so scared of what my brain would do if I saw my swing, especially if I was playing good. There was one, I don't remember if it was on the podcast or not. We were in Vegas. It was the Neil round. It was Angel Park. And I was playing really well that day. And the last hole, he took a picture of my final swing, and I was so angry. So now that I know a little more about the swing and like I know what the swing looks like because I send it to Jason every week, and so I'm over that. But that was a big hurdle for me for videos. I just didn't want to see it because I was scared of what my mind would do with the information.
Even outside of like producing content where your swing's in it, I'm in a huge phase of I do not look at my swing on video unless something is aggressively wrong. Like if something, like I had a shank session recently and we pulled up the video and tried to figure some stuff out, but I'm like, it takes that, I'm like, cause if it's working, I don't want to be like, I don't like how it looks. Cause I don't like how it looks. Cause I'm a schlubby 36-year-old man, so it's not going to look great, but I can be Tiger Woods in my head. I can have that tiger follow through rather than my gut swinging through behind the weight of my body. I just can't look at it.
I understand.
Mike, when we had you on in season 1, that was, as I recall, that was like 2 days before Adam's U.S. Open qualifier at Rolling Green. And we talked at that point, Mike, about how you had not had many reps at that level of competition. And I remember Adam said during that, like, oh, competitive golf at that level is like a whole different animal. Mm-hmm. So since then, you've played in a couple of events like that last year and this year. The results haven't really been close to what you wanted. But as you think about getting better results going forward, like I know it's a combination of these 3 things, like getting more reps in those scenarios, maybe being better mentally and also being better like technically, golf swing and short game and all that stuff. It's a combination of all those things. But where does your focus go in terms of performing better in those kind of competitive events?
Yeah, I wish I had a good answer. Because the results, like you said, have not been good. I mean, I kind of think I don't want to make excuses, but the event, the most recent event that I played, I convinced myself I was more prepared than I was, but I was not prepared at all. It was February, and we had our worst winter ever here in North Carolina. So, I mean, it just kind of prepared me for what the expectation should be if you have not prepared going in. But it also, I played with people that had the same exact winter that I had, and they were able to put some things together that I was not. So it was kind of like a reality check of where the game was. And honestly, I think the biggest thing for me is I need a fallback go-to swing when things aren't quite there. And in that particular round, I had such a good range session that I kept trying to get back to that feeling that I just had on the range where I was flushing everything. But I didn't have a, hey, let's hit a low cut the rest of the day, or let's go to that fairway finder swing. I just I didn't have that. And I'm not sure that I still do. That's still something that I think is a hole, because when it comes to not having your best stuff and scoring, that's still where the biggest gap that I have. So I would say it's reps, but I think it's smart reps and kind of understanding where do I go when things aren't perfect, and it's not trying to make the swing more perfect or like it was on the range. It's let's get the ball. Let's get our start lines right, and then stay and play.
Do you have? Will you be playing in competitive events like that, like in the middle or end of the season, versus the ones you've played in at the beginning?
Yeah, we've got some planned. So right now, just with the way the USGA deadline is, and what we have to get our handicaps down to, we determined it's not wise to play in any right now. It's all about trying to get that number down low. Mm-hmm. If we get the number down low enough, then I've earmarked probably 3 or 4 that I would play late summer.
Okay.
But I did. You said you just watched the video. I will say, like, I'm not great at it, but I was better. So I did not have my best stuff on day 2. You might have noticed I hit a bunch of low cuts with the driver, and that was on purpose. I said, you know what, the shot I feel right now is the low tee, keep it and play driver, and that helped me stay in it on the back. I think I shot 2 over on the back. So, yeah, getting better, but I'm, not quite there yet.
Mike, can I ask you what it's like to have a podcast partner who cares enough about golf to try to get their handicap down to where they could enter a tournament with you later in the season? Now, this is not directed at Bryan. No.
Wow.
I'm just wondering what it's like to have someone who cares about golf and wants to get better at it.
And then when you answer that part of the question, then answer, what is it like to have a podcast partner who's rooting for you and generally cares about what you're doing in the game of golf and wants to see you succeed? Maybe a 2-parter.
This is tough love, Bryan. It's just tough love.
The answer to both questions is it feels great. And I would wish that on anybody who has a podcast.
Fair enough. Adam, weren't you recently, we just were talking the other day about like your experiences recently in competitive events. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we were talking about a similar thing, like having a go-to ball flight. We were kind of talking about Scotty Scheffler and how, he says how he just wants to see the ball moving left to right. And as long as that's happening, you kind of were, going along something similar to what Mike was saying there, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to eliminate left completely. I'm just like, we are full one-way miss. I don't care if I miss 50 yards right. I am never missing left. It is my goal. And it's crazy because so I just played in another U.S. Open qualifier and didn't play that bad. Played with a top 1,000 player in the world. And it's weird because it doesn't our games, our ball speeds don't look that different. Yeah. And he played bad and shot 73 and I played bad and shot 85. And it's like, what is happening there? Cause it doesn't look, it's weird to watch great golf in person because it doesn't look that different. It really doesn't. They're not having those big misses. They
just don't miss.
They don't double cross it. They don't. So they miss and it's short right on the front of the green instead of long left down a hill, and it's just like, and you're like, oh, we both flushed the ball, but somehow I made double and he made par. And it's just like, yeah, it's crazy. It's so different and it's so hard. Competitive golf is so hard and taxing, and I hate it.
And you wonder why I'm not
I thought you liked it.
I love it. I love it. I live for it. But I'm not I just turn into I tallied up my competitive tournaments over the last couple of years, and I just am like a 7 handicap when I'm in tournaments, and it's like, okay, so I go from a very close to scratch golfer to a 7 handicap, and I don't know what the difference is, but it's not a fun experience, Yeah.
Well, I played with Josh Nichols that round, and ball striking wise, he didn't flush the ball all day, but his misses were so small, and he shot 74 and tied for first, but again, I walked away, and we've been saying this for a while. It's like, the good shots don't need to get better. The bad shots just need to suck less.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to call him out. I sent Josh my latest scorecard from the Cardinal, and I had like an eagle and a couple birdies, but I had 2 doubles. And so his response is, your good's great. Your bad still sucks. And I was like, yep, that's true. But I think the only other thing I'd say, Bryan, and this might be more important than the technical thing, even though I do think having that go-to shot and being confident that I can get to something that works is important. But I think also the thing I realized going into the tournament, we talked on the podcast a little bit. Eli was like, "Well, did you think you could win?" And I was like, "No, I couldn't win." And I think and when I was talking with Adrian on the mental side, she was kind of like, well, why didn't you think you could win? And I was like, well, because that's illogical. Like, there's no way I'm going to beat some of these players in the field that have all this experience and I don't have any. And she's like, well, so you just didn't have a goal? And I was like, well, no, my goal was I wanted to stay in my process and do all that stuff, which sounds really good, but there wasn't a driving competitive force that I had, because I think it was almost like I was protecting myself against that because I didn't want to get too score focused. But without it, it was like you're just kind of numb a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I came out of it and I was like, well, I didn't even look at the leaderboard. I didn't know that it was flighted, but there was 12 people in my flight with my handicap. That should have been my goal. And so my next tournament, I will have a goal. I will have a concrete goal of what I'm trying to do, because that certainly helps me and does not hurt.
Where are you at with looking at your score during rounds? I know that was something I used to not do, and then I kind of transitioned to doing it. And at the same time, I felt like you had started moving away from that a little bit. Where are you at with that?
Yeah, I kind of had gone back and forth with that. I'm with it now. It's just like I'm kind of like, I'm not going to be scared of information.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I've played the Cardinals so much that it's impossible not to know. Like, it's just not, it's not possible. Like, I would have to work hard for my brain to be like, oh, I don't know what I've shot, because I know every hole and every shot that I just hit. There's like on a course that, maybe I don't know. Maybe there's a chance that I can not really know, but not on the everyday course. I'm going to know.
Bryan used to try to get me to not do it, and I'm like, it's just literally, it's not a choice. It's just literally, I would have to be efforting so much to not think about it that I can't even fathom it.
I want to ask you more about the Cardinal in a little bit, but I want to throw a couple hypotheticals at you.
Okay.
So neither you or Eli have shot even par to this point, correct?
No.
And I think you've both been very close, right? I know you've shot one over. I'm not sure if Eli has or not.
Before. Oh yeah. Eli
Okay.
Eli had the most painful story ever in season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like 1 under.
Was that
he's 1 under on the last hole, I think.
Was that like the back of it? He went over the green and then had a chip back up.
He went left into some heather and tried to hit, he had a hanging lie. I can't remember what it was, but he doubled the last hole to shoot one over, I think.
I do. I think I had blocked that out.
That was pain.
That was pain. I'm curious, total hypothetical here, but if the show was called Chasing Par, right? And if that had been like the original conceit from the beginning, like 2 shaky 11 handicaps in their late 30s with kids and jobs, trying to get good enough to shoot even par without destroying their families in the process. A, do you think the show would be much different than it is now? And B, do you think either of you would have achieved that goal in this alternate timeline?
Wow. Yes, I think yes to both.
Okay.
I would say, because if breaking par is the max importance, I'm not playing the course that I play every day. I'm picking somewhere else to go. And I also think, I think it would look a lot different for sure. But I do think both of us would have done it.
Bryan, you've come up against the fact that it seems like your unspoken goal was chasing par. I think some of your golf flow, we'll call it, we're going to hashtag golf flow.
Sure.
Your golf flow is partly because you shot even par last year. Or did you shot 1 under?
Yeah, 2 years ago even par, last year 1 under.
And you were having a hard time finding a goal because that was the goal. So you're like, where you're like, hey, I shot 1 under from 6,000 yards on an easy golf course. and now what do we do? Gosh. And I'm like,
the shots just keep firing.
Yeah.
It's just shells raining.
This is my love language. I just got to be clear. This
not mine, to be clear. Not mine.
No, Bryan's.
I know Bryan. He's a nice guy.
Bryan is just acts of kindness. I think it's just
and touch.
Hey, we swore. You signed the NDA. You signed it before the pod, and now here we are.
Anyway, was there a question in there, Adam?
No, I was saying it's just interesting what your goals are. So shape what you're doing, and it's kind of fun because you, like you're saying, I would have broken par by now, but you have a goal to be scratch, and then so I'm saying Bryan needs to find a new goal. That's all.
Yeah,
I could be wrong in that, but what I would think is I would have probably made less long-term moves improvement wise, and just tried to play as much as possible because I think that's probably the best way to break par on a course that fits us. Like I think that would have been the goal. I will say, looking back on it, that would have been a way more achievable, realistic goal than we picked. But yeah, I think it would be a lot different.
Yeah, and probably the show would not be better for it. Did have a listener question from none other than Asian Thor.
Oh gosh,
who wants to know, kind of related to this, if everything clicked, how low of a round do you think you are capable of?
If everything clicked. Gosh, that's loaded.
It is loaded.
If everything clicked? I mean, every single thing?
Why not 18 birdies?
My wife and I had a good morning that morning, and then the breakfast was key. It was clutch. It was a clutch breakfast.
All green lights.
I ate alpaca for lunch. I'm just so satisfied. 63. Like if every single thing clicks.
Yeah.
Everything clicks.
I mean, if I'm thinking about the Cardinal, I'm thinking if you want to give me like a realistic everything clicks, 67.
Okay.
5 birdies, 2 bogeys, 67.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
No.
Wait.
6 birdies. My math was off.
Okay.
Par 71.
Par 71. Do you think that when one of you shoots even par or breaks par, that the other one is going to do it within a few weeks, like a Roger Bannister 4-minute mile situation?
Maybe. I feel like if I break par first, I would put money on Eli to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's also, Eli puts a lot more on it than I do. Like, he was even talking about last week, like if he's in a round, like, and he gets to a point over par, like he's like, I'm not going to shoot even par today. I don't really think about that. I think he would do that. I think if he shot even par, I'd love to tell you that I would do it too. But I think it's reverse. I think if I get there, if I do it, he'll do it faster.
You mentioned the Cardinal, and I love that your friend recently referred to it as the Hardinal.
The Hardinal, yeah.
I thought that was pretty great. Adam and I've played it twice now. I think Adam got to play it last year as well. It was in the wind that day that we played it. Yeah. It was just as hard.
Joke. It's no joke.
Just as hard as I remember. I feel like since you've moved to Greensboro, there's not been a lot of discussion, at least on the mics, about like, is this the club for me? You know, is this where I want to play a majority of golf? Is that something that you wrestle with off mic and you just don't talk about it? Or is it like, no, for logistical and other reasons, like this is the club where I'm going to play the most golf and that's not going to change?
The first year I was back, me and Eli talked about that a lot because it was just beating me to death.
Yeah.
And I was just getting hit in the face with the shovel. Pete was just continuing to hammer away. And I just didn't see an out, or I couldn't see me getting better. So now I'm kind of through that now. I don't really think about that now. And again, logistically, there's just not really another option that I could play as much as the Cardinal because it's just 5 minutes from my house. And I have started to appreciate it more than just get mad at it because it does require just about every shot. And so it is like a challenge. But the other thing is like, I know the shots every hole. It's not like it's unfair. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's demanding.
Yeah.
And I think the only times when I get frustrated is especially because of the greens, the elevated greens are the biggest defense. And if you're just if you're not catching the irons flush, you know, a day that, you know, you would on like another course where you'd shoot like a 80 it can be like an 88 and you just feel terrible. Mm-hmm. But yeah, other than that, I've learned to appreciate it, but also I think just knowing that, I mean, I think I've birdied every hole. It's possible. Mm-hmm. You know, there's ways to play it.
Have you thought about it much with a handicap based goal being the pitch for your podcast? Have you thought about it much from a handicap strategy standpoint? Because we've talked a lot about, like, I think my handicap would be better on a harder course at this point because I'm like, I want to play the highest rated course I can, because of my style. I make a lot of pars. I don't tend to just go nuts with birdies, right? So like I don't have that go low ability, so I can play Honeybrook and I might shoot 1 under several times a year, but I'm not going to shoot 5 under suddenly. That's just not how it works. But you kind of have to do that to go plus at Honeybrook.
Yeah.
But at the Cardinal, I feel like I don't, I only played it the one time. I forget what I shot exactly, and it was hard, but I'm like, I think I'd shoot around par a couple times, and it's like a plus handicap differential, right?
Yeah.
And it's
if you shoot par, it would be plus.
Yeah. And so it's like, what do you think in terms of, do you think it's helping or hurting your goal to be at a hard golf course?
I mean, it depends on the day you ask me that. I think overall, I think it is helping. I think sometimes the rating, I think it could be a little bit better, like a little more in our advantage.
Do you play the tips when you play there?
Not normally.
Okay.
Maybe 3 or 4 times a year I'll play the tips.
The tips are like 7,000 yards, 74.7 rating on a par 71, I believe.
Yeah. So I'll normally play the one ups.
Okay.
And that's really just because, I mean, I've thought about the tips. Not many people want to play the tips. So if you're playing with people, then, you kind of have to go by yourself.
Yeah.
And then you have to play well. You have to. If you're the one guy back there.
Yeah, that's right. But man, just some of the tee shots, like number 5 is already a daunting hole, and it's 465 from the tips. But it's the answer. I don't know the answer to your question, but I feel like I play it enough, and I know it enough now to where it's my strategy for the next 3 months is to get my handicap as low as possible, like to get 2.4 so we can do the 4 ball. And I've determined I'm going to play almost every round at the Cardinal because I just feel like I know the greens. I know I go to an easier course, but then all of a sudden you don't putt the same. And so, yeah, that's
right.
That's kind of my thought.
Yeah. You and Eli have made the trip to Honeybrook twice.
Love Honeybrook.
Played it a handful of times. It's, for those who don't know, it's 6,300 at the tips, par 70, decent amount of space to spray it, pretty straightforward green complexes, has a rating of 69.6, slope of 126. If we were to snap our fingers and drop Honeybrook right there where the Cardinal is and replace the Cardinal with Honeybrook, what is your handicap? And have you shot even par or broken par by now, do you think?
Dang. I'd have to do some math, but I think I would have broken par.
I agree. I
don't know what my handicap would be though, because I would have to, like Adam was saying, you got to shoot consistently better there, because an even par round, I'm giving back strokes, right?
Yeah, like half a stroke from the tip. I think it's like
for the tips. Okay.
Yeah, it's like 0.6. I think is even there.
But there's some tough holes. Like I don't want to play 4 again. Is 4 the one that goes down the hill?
Well, you don't have to worry about playing 4 again because
4 is closed by a legal injunction. It's a fun story.
I'm thinking about 5. I'm thinking about
5.
Yeah, 5.
Which one goes down the hill?
You'd get used to 5. You would get used to 5.
Downhill over the pond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you'd get used to it, but there are bogeys to be made out there. There's I've made plenty of them.
I just love the setup so much. I want to come back. I want to go back and play. It's the best for a tournament, because you got Amish Corner. It's so quirky and good. It's just, I love it.
It's a fun little golf course. It is.
Yeah.
I had another listener question here while we're on the last thing on the Cardinal. This is from Victor 312121172.
Is that his phone number?
I think he's 1 digit short, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wants to know if your Cardinal handicap travels well, specifically asking, is it just difficult to be difficult, or has it made you a better golfer?
I think there's been examples of when it's traveled well, but it doesn't travel well to Ireland. I'll tell you that much. I mean, it's a little different, different golf completely over there. I say the one thing that I get into some trouble when I go to a course that's more wide open, because I think I can hit 3 drivers. If I'm being smart, I can hit 3 full drivers at the Cardinal.
Okay.
And if I go to a course that I can hit like 14, I'm just not used to hitting driver that much, and sometimes I don't take advantage. So I think I can get out of being able to like be really good with driver because I don't hit it as much. But I mean the like the approach shots, you can definitely feel the difference. Like on a course with flatter green complexes, not as complicated. You know, it seems much easier to hold greens, to not get in trouble from the middle. I mean, you can make doubles so easily from the middle of the fairway with just not a crisp shot if you miss in the wrong spot. And you know, not many courses that I play other than Cardinal are like that. So
yeah,
I'd say I don't know that I play enough other courses at this point to be able to like have data that says yes, it's made me a better player, but I would think yes, it's made me a better player.
When we were talking about if your goal was to shoot even par, that you'd play more golf, because that would be one way that you could, you know, have more chances to do that. Actually had a question here from someone that kind of hits on that. This is from Andrew on Instagram. He says, I just don't think Mike and Eli play enough golf. And if I was on their advisory team, I would tell them to sacrifice some practice time and time spent on creating the podcast to play more. If they doubled their rounds played, they would not only be better, but they'd have twice the chances to shoot great rounds where it all came together. Ask them if they've considered increasing their goals for rounds played in a season.
So the answer to that last question is yes, but there is a limit to what both of us are able to do.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily putting practice over golf. When I said that about reaching par, I think I was more thinking about like, there's probably some longer term swing moves that I've tried to make that have scratch in mind, but not necessarily one round of par. I think if it was one round of par, I just would have stuck with whatever I had. And because I had a couple times season one where I almost broke par, but I would say it is the most important factor that I've seen. So last year I had a goal of playing 60 times. I would have done it if I didn't get hurt at the end of last year. And this year it's the same. But I mean, before that, the most I'd played in a year was 35 times. And it's clear that that's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not even 2 rotations at the handicap. So yeah, I hear that, listener. We are fully maxed out in number of rounds we're playing.
Got a few more here from listeners. If you got a few more minutes.
Yeah, I'm good.
Tom K wants to know, what podcast team would Mike and Eli most like to play in a 4-ball match?
Bag Chatter, obviously.
Let's go.
At Honeybrook. We come to Honeybrook, into your house, into your kitchen.
I mean,
I'm just trying to get Adam mad.
It's working.
How does that make me mad? I don't understand.
I'm just fired up.
I'm fired. I live fired up. I live here. I stay here. I cruise at fired up.
Can I ask, just while you're fired up, can you help me get fired up about Outback Steakhouse?
Oh man. Every course.
What am I ordering wrong?
Every course at Outback is a really good course. Okay, because here's what you do. Here's the thing. First,
I know there's no rules, just right. But.
Let's go Outback tonight. No, so the bread is fantastic. Okay,
the pumpernickel bread.
Yes, not pumpernickel. I learned it's not pumpernickel. I've been saying pumpernickel for my whole life. But I'm going to continue saying it. The pumpernickel bread. Okay. Here's the key to Outback Steakhouse. You have to understand.
Wait, what? So it's not pumpernickel?
No,
it's not. It's just like a brown wheat.
It's like
bread.
a brown honey wheat.
I feel lied to.
Go ahead. I know. Me too.
Go ahead.
The actual key to Outback Steakhouse that separates them in some categories, they have the best ranch dressing in the game. If you're not a ranch person, this might
I'm
miss you.
I'm a huge ranch person.
So if you go, they have cheese fries. They're pretty average cheese fries, but they give you like a vat of the ranch of ranch.
So they have vehicles to put ranch in your mouth.
Yes, okay. and good ranch. And so you get their salads with ranch, elite ranch dressing salads.
All right, I'm going to agree with you on that. I've had their ranch is good. Okay.
And then the steak is steak. I like steak.
But you put the steak in the ranch?
I'm not an animal like my. Let's be reasonable. So
Agree to disagree on
the
that.
steak. I mean, the steaks are good. I think they make a fine steak. It's not like, I'm not saying it's the best steak that's out there, but I'm saying across the board for the price point, with the ranch factored in, you're getting the best value.
Okay, so I've had the salad with the ranch. I've not had any other dishes with the ranch. Did your cheese? Said cheese?
Yeah, you need to get the Aussie cheese fries. It's just
Aussie cheese.
It's just fries smothered in cheese and bacon, which is great. Obviously, that's great. And then you just use that as an edible spoon for the ranch dressing. And
I'm not above that.
It's, to me, those cheese fries, if you're just like taking health out of the equation, I'd like just purely taste. I'm not sure there's a better taste that goes in my mouth than those cheese fries smothered in ranch dressing. I've made, like, I got like one of those like mimic recipes, and I used to make Outback Steakhouse ranch and like jar it at home.
Homemade ranch is when you get the right ranch, it is completely. Bryan knows this. I'm a sauce guy, so I'm with you on this. I'm with you. There's a Italian restaurant that has a local one that has the best ranch, and I'll go there just for that. Right. So I'm with you there. I just didn't know. I knew of the salad. Do they have a chicken Philly that I can dip the ranch in? Because chicken Philly with some good ranch is really good.
I don't think they do. But okay. I mean, I'm telling you, that ranch unlocks any weaknesses they have. The ranch elevates it. Okay. And trust me, there's not a lot of weaknesses. This is an Outback Steakhouse.
My sweet mates in college, Eli's teammates, big 7-foot Australians. And they hated the Outback Steakhouse commercials because they said, this is just like Australia. And so we would every time we would see an Outback, we'd be like, oh, we should go there. It's exactly like living in Australia. And they're like, no, it's not.
I like that it's not even like it's fake Australian food. It's just regular. It's just a steakhouse with an Australian theme.
It just has a kangaroo on it. There's nothing Australian about it.
It's not like, so it's not like, saying that Olive Garden isn't Italian. It has nothing to do with Australia at all.
The last time we had Mike on, the episode was titled Big Sauce Guys Here. And somehow we've devolved into sauce talk again.
Is that what it was called?
I believe that's what it was called. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's cool.
No, you will not, by the way, come into Honeybrook and take anything from us. We will hold our ground. Okay. And then we will come into North Carolina and Kentucky and raid your kitchens. So how about that?
Raid your kitchens. Mike, can you tell me who's your least favorite Velcrin member? I could get. Bryan has guesses. Bryan, he's rather. Okay,
that's an easy one. It's Fulton.
Okay.
The villain.
Fulton is a complete villain. But if you want a great relationship at a bank, go to South State Bank. / Chasing Scratch. Get 25% off your first relationship. Ask for Michael Fulton.
Got a question here from Brandon B. He said, you said last time you were on Bag Chatter that season 6 Mike would destroy season 3 Mike. Where does season 8 Mike fit into all this? Which Mike is the best Mike?
Season 8 Mike would kill everybody. all other versions of Mike would be dead. Yeah, I'm better than I've ever been by far.
Okay.
And where I'm actually starting to see that, where I can actually back that up, is I don't have a whole lot of low rounds right now on the handicap card, but like I played a round last week that had 86, 87 written all over it, was not hitting it well, and shot 81. Had another round that was a 79 that was probably more like would have been an 83. So I feel like I'm making less big mistakes, less, always the goal's always no doubles. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get around the cardinal with no doubles, but I'm making less of those big mistakes than I ever have, which I think would allow me to destroy previous versions of myself.
I wish I could do that to destroy previous versions of myself. That would be great. That would be fantastic.
I thought this was an interesting one from Jason R. He says, Mike, longtime fan since the start of the show. I'm curious, have you regressed as a putter? I feel like at the beginning of the show, your short game was touted as a major weapon. Do you think it's still a strength of yours and that you just sometimes have seasons where the putter goes cold like everyone else?
I think it was one of those things, short game and putting, where I just thought I was just good and I just kind of put them away on the back burner. Mm-hmm. And then realized last year that I had gotten in some really bad habits. I was out at TPI and Jacqueline, our good friend, set me up with a Scotty Cameron guy, and he had me make a few strokes. And I mean, it was very quick. He was like, why are you standing like this? What's happened to your posture? And as soon as he made those changes, like all the feels came back. So I feel like I definitely missed out on some really low scores last year because I got to a point where I was plus handicap driving. I was near scratch approach. And then the short game went, I was a 10. I was a 10 handicap with a wedge and 6 putting. But now it's back where a short game, like the last 2 months, short game is as good as I can remember it. So I think, and that's another reason why I'd say, this season's Mike is the best Mike, because I've got a lot of confidence in being able to scramble and make some good shots with the short game.
It's funny how the question was, has it regressed? And it's like, it probably didn't regress at any point. I understand you're saying bad habits, but it's like you started as an 11 handicap. So if you had a 6 handicap on the putting, that was your strength, and then you get better and suddenly a 6 handicap is not as good on putting. And now you got to pick up that slack.
No, I think that's a good point. I think also, like, as you get better ball striking, you actually have longer putts, because if you don't hit any greens, then, you're going to wedge it a little closer than you are going to hit it. So that was one thing, is I realized I wasn't giving proper attention to the 35 footers. And I was racing them by, or where it was like, so it was kind of a mindset shift too, is when I started hitting more greens, it was like, okay, well, I've got some longer putts and I got to really focus on where I'm trying to have this one end up. Whereas, if you're putting for par all day and you got a 10 footer, you can just try to make it. Yeah.
Is it the same guy? I know you have a video coming out soon where Eli gets a putting lesson. Was it the same guy that helped you, that helped him?
No. So he got help from Dave Phillips, the co-founder of TPI.
Yeah.
And he was awesome. I don't remember my guy's name. I'm sorry, guy that helped me. If you're listening, but
he's definitely listening. He's definitely listening.
I do appreciate it. Thank you.
I got 2 final listener questions. Strangely, both of them involving Greg Norman, which, speaking of Aussie.
There you go.
So Tim Payne says, if you put Jack Nicklaus and Greg Norman in an Olympic-sized pool filled with water, who emerges victorious?
You got to go Jack. Got to go with the golden bear.
Greg probably has the lead at some point, but then Jack maybe overtakes him.
He misses right, and he tries to attack right, and yeah.
And Eric Collier wants to know, who would win in a better ball, the Bear Shark versus current day Nicklaus and Norman?
That's a great question. I like that one.
Based on the ceremonial tee shot at the Masters, I feel pretty good that I'm not sure Jack's going to make it the whole round. If we walk.
Do you mean living or like or like walking around? I don't know.
Yeah, looked pretty rough. But then I saw him make a long putt the other day on something. So he was playing with Tom Watson, I think. I haven't seen. Does Greg Norman still play golf?
He did all the live stuff.
Yeah, I think he just walks around on the beach shirtless. Kind of all he does, I think, at this point.
I got you two. I'm going to say it. I think you're beating Jack and Greg.
You think we're going to do it?
I think you can do it.
I feel pretty good about it.
I don't know how good you'd feel after doing it. You know, it's like, it might not feel great. It's better to say.
It might not be Nicholas and Norman, but will we see more YouTube content from Chasing Scratch in the future? Will we possibly see collabs with other YouTube channels? Is that something you're open to if they approach you, or might you actually go out and try to make those happen?
I'm against the word collab.
Fair.
If we could do it without saying collab, I would feel good about that. No, I think you'll definitely have more YouTube stuff. People have been asking us for that, and we've been slow, and we've learned lessons the hard way, like we've mentioned before about we trying to do it ourselves. So we'll definitely have some stuff at our events. I would be open to collabs. I think it would have to kind of make sense. I have no interest in the clickbait collabs.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like if it's a collab that would help us be more competitive, would help us be better, would help us then yes. And I'm using the word collab, which I'm already getting uncomfortable, but yeah, I'd say we're open to it. I got a question for you guys.
Okay.
Are you guys considering coming to another event? Maybe the season ending? I don't want to put you on the spot. You don't have to put this in the episode. I'm just wondering. Are we going to see team Bag Chatter at some point this year?
That's a great question. The Carl Tucky was on our radar, but then it didn't work out because of another conflict that I had, which actually I think that conflict might have disappeared now, but I'm sure the Carl Tucky sold out. We also have Media Heights member guests the following weekend, so that one still might not work out, but I had a blast at the VI, and so I'm open to making that happen.
Okay.
Adam?
Well, yeah. I'm very open to it. I'm tremendously open to the idea. Let me tell you.
I'm just saying we might need to put a little side bet down, a little outback
high stakes,
dinner.
High stakes,
the highest of stakes,
and it works both ways. See? This is exciting. This guy knows what he's doing. This is a professional. This is the highest of stakes. My goodness.
Just got my episode title.
We might. Highest of stakes. And we might have to go just because I'm still the owner of the Chasing Scratch heavyweight belt.
That's right.
And I'm the two-time inaugural champion. Does that work? Two-time inaugural champion.
Sure.
I want the inaugural championship twice. They redid the inaugural.
Yeah, they redid it. It's just part of the name. It's just it
wasn't the second annual. They said we screwed up the first.
I'm just saying I'm the only one who's had it. So, but it's been we've had. So I won it, and then Casey challenged for it. So we got to find someone who wants to challenge for this belt. So that needs to happen. At some point, regardless. Because it can't sit in my trunk forever.
Oh, I thought it was on your mantle.
That's what I call my trunk.
Well, Mike, thanks for this. Appreciate you taking some time.
Thank you guys for having me.
To come on.
This was fun.
Absolutely. I don't know how much longer this podcast is going to go. I hope we have you on when you're in season 16 of the podcast.
That's it. And we'll be plus sevens at that point.
Yeah.
So we're all going to be plus. Just... Never mind. Edit that out. I had nothing to say. It's just going to be another pot shot at Bryan. And I'm like, why? Why? I have met my quota. I have goals and I met them. I don't need to go over.
He's walking around like 50 Cent right now.
I made my money on FanDuel over, so I'm happy too. We're all winners here. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We are so grateful for all of you. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Bag Chatter Golf. If you've got a question you want answered in a future mailbag episode, or if you're a brand looking to partner with us, send us an email at bagchattergolf@gmail.com. Music credits can be found in the show notes, and of course, we'd love for you to give this podcast a positive review and rating wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes. Last but not least, don't leave yourself too much bone meat on putts, and as always, get out there and make those ham. We'll catch you next time.